Here's your host, Alex Garrett.
Well, it is the Fanatics Fest Day 1 recap, and of course, I'm going to drop my Fanatics affiliate link in this podcast. What a Fanatics Friday it was, whether it was getting to see the whole crowd of people at Javits Setting waiting to see, CeCe Sabathia, Jalen Brunson, Derek Jeter, David Ortiz, Eli Manning, even Hall of Famer Johnny Bench was there. Personally, it was just fun to be there and to know that, folks like Wade at the Fanatics affiliate team see the hard work this podcast has put in to promote Fanatics. And you know what? I was pretty busy at Fanatics Fest as well, continuing to talk about it, promote it, and just get people's reactions, fans' reactions to the whole event as well. And I want to start there with my buddy
Hook up there with WVOX Radio, which this aired on, by the way. Here, Brandon and I talked about the mentorship of Curtis Granderson.
This is awesome. If you're a sports fan, especially if you're a New York sports fan, you got to be here. There's the Yankees, there's the Rangers, the Giants, Jets, everybody. You get to see all the types of fans, all the families we got. It's where you want to be, baby.
All right, real quick, who you got on the line? Who are you going to see? Who you going to autograph from?
Well, I'm not going to get any autographs, actually. I went to see Jeter. Later on, I'm about to see Brunson and Josh Hart and everybody. And then Eli and the Giants.
By the way.
Yes, I have. And then Eli Manning and the Giants, baby.
There you go.
There you go. It was a big night at the Javits Center with Brunson, newly named captain, by the way, of the Knicks, and Josh Hart, as well as Eli Manning, who we all want to be the first ballot Hall of Famer. But the panel that we got to catch before I ran back to Radio World was actually Derek Jeter and David Ortiz. And I want to start here because they found some common ground on the Yankees being a winning franchise. And I'll start with Derek Jeter, the captain, said about being on a team run by George Steinbrenner. Take a listen.
It was drilled in our heads that you have to win at every single level. And we weren't promoted until we had basically dominated a particular level. And so I had teammates that learned accountability, responsibility at an early age. The number one goal is to win. That's the only thing that mattered. Don't talk about I, it's always we. So we had a special group that came up together, and you never had to worry about those players because you knew every day when they took the field what their priority was, what they cared about. And the only way that you're able to win a championship is you have to have a lot of great teammates. You have to have a lot of great leaders. They always talk about, one leader. No, you want to have a lot of leaders. We had a lot of leaders on our team. Posada was a leader. Mariano was a leader. Pettit was a leader. Bernie was a leader. We had a lot of leaders. In order to be successful in anything that you do, whether it's in sports or it's in business, it's in life, you got to have great people around you and great people supporting you. We always supported each other.
From the captain himself. And interestingly enough, David Ortiz, of course, wearing the Red Sox uniform for many years, and was booed at Fanatics Fest today when he was first introduced. I never really understood that. You pay a lot of money to see this all-star, this World Series champion. Why boo him? But that's just New York, right? That's just New York. Anyway, David Ortiz found that common ground with a former rival, not only Jeter, but the Yankees organization. Take a listen.
In a type of way that it was motivational. Hey, you won this, you got to give me that. And I can live with that. I'm cool with it because once you cross those lines, you got to be able to put up with the challenge. You know what I'm saying? And you know the history. The Yankees are the Yankees. It's an organization that I have a lot of friends that have played for, and they always have something phenomenal to say about that organization. And you pay attention. This is the team that had the most championship out of all. And this is the one team in that division that you have to compete with. So you have to pay attention, like Derek said.
19. But here he is, Steve Serio.
Well, anyway, that was David Ortiz on the Yankees' incredible dynasty, incredible franchise. And I wanted to play that for you because y'all booed him when he was at the stadium, and I met him personally a couple of times. He's a decent gentleman. The story I have is after the Red Sox pulled off the upset in Game 7 after being down 0-3 in the ALCS, he was wrapping up and heading downstairs to, leave for the team bus or whatever, and we were in the catacombs of Yankee Stadium, and he gave me a huge bear hug after winning the ALCS, and it was such a cordial moment, and I felt that cordiality today between Jeter and Ortiz. The other interesting aspect of today was, and he did a phenomenal job, Ryan Clark, a former football player turned TV analyst, asked David and Derek about how they faced tragedy head-on after 9/11 and, of course, the 2013 Boston bombing. This was a really dramatic, emotional moment, and I wanted to capture it for you here on the Alex Garrett Podcast Network.
What were some of those moments like for you, and how proud were you to be not only just an American, but a New Yorker at that time?
It was the first time as a professional athlete where I felt as though it didn't matter what we were doing. It doesn't make a difference. It doesn't count. There's bigger issues in the world as opposed to whether or not the Yankees win or lose. And it wasn't until we had a chance to meet a lot of families who had lost loved ones, and they had told us how much joy we had brought their families, and how they were pulling for us to continue to play well. And so we took that as a huge responsibility to not help people forget, because you're never going to forget, but at least for 3 hours during the day or 3 hours at night, just give them something to cheer for. And we took that personally. And it was probably as electric, as energetic as I've seen the old Yankee Stadium when we got to the World Series, even though we lost. But the 3 games that we played in New York and the way the city rallied around us, first time we went on the road and people weren't booing us. That's the first, maybe the only time I ever played in Boston. People weren't booing us because they understood that we were represented. We're all in this together. So it was a time that I look back on, and I don't even know if I'm saying it right, but it was a time I look back on, and I really appreciated being a part of the Yankee organization and representing New York.
That's beautiful. I think everybody remembers where they were that day, and for you, Big Papi, you got a chance to be one of the voices of Boston at the Boston Marathon and the tragedy there. What was it like to be a part of bringing that great city together?
Like Derek said, we only think of how important is what we do until something like that shows up. When something like that shows up, you are not thinking about baseball, you are not thinking about winning, you're thinking about the community, you're thinking about the citizens, you think about the city, how hard that city have worked to be able to begin to be what it is, and all of a sudden this type of tragedy happens, and it's like you say, when 9/11 went down, everybody remember what you were doing at the moment, where you were. Me being from the Dominican Republic, New York is loaded of Dominican people, and when the 9/11 happens, a lot of people from my country end up losing their life, and when something like that happens, it doesn't matter where you're from, all you focus on is everything that is going on with everybody, people from everywhere worldwide suffering this type of tragedy. All you want to do, and I wasn't wearing their shoes, but I can imagine playing for New York at the time, what it means, because when the bombing happened in Boston, it was something that he basically make everything stop as well. And at the time, you're not thinking about what you have to do in between those lines. You're thinking about how you can get that city going, you know. And I remember, you know, they handed me the microphone like 5 minutes before I went out there and say what I said. But I was just acting not like David Ortiz, the baseball player. I was acting like David Ortiz, the citizen. Because I would say this, what I say at the moment, I would say anybody can say, and even more. But the good thing is that everybody embraced that, and we start moving on.
That's beautiful.
I mean, you remember what he said, right? He said, "This is my effing city," and that was really a moment that I think united Boston and made Boston strong, truly real after that horrible bombing of the Boston. I mean, no one thought that could ever happen. Anyway, hearing about that and perspectives from both Jeter, who of course got to shake the hand of President Bush before the World Series in 2001 when that electric first pitch happened, and then actually last year, President Bush again throwing out the first pitch of the World Series featuring the Diamondbacks. And who was interviewing President Bush? W. Bush? Derek Jeter. And I thought that was such a full circle moment in a way. And of course, Jeter and Ortiz are on Fox Sports and together every Saturday. MLB on Fox. Him and Ortiz and A-Rod and Kevin Burkhardt. And it was just motivation. Now, I've been fortunate because I got to hear Alex Rodriguez and Ortiz give a talk at Aspire Tour, and I regretfully did not play that for you yet, so I want to give you a taste of that before we wrap up this Fanatics Fest recap for day one.
Of course, go ahead. So, I would just say, as far as my last message here, and I wish we had more time to hang out because I really like this group, is we're sitting today in 2024 in some challenging times. But this is the greatest time to be an American. It is the greatest time to be an entrepreneur. Every single person in this room, thousands of people in this room, every single person lived today better than John D. Rockefeller did when he lived. He was the richest man in the world. We have more gas, more food, more energy, more hope. We have speed. When we have a little twitch like yesterday, everybody goes crazy because we're spoiled as Americans. I mean, if you think about the poverty around the world, and all you need to do is be right one time. One time. Who cares? You can go 0 for 99. You get that one big hit, and it's game, set, match. Yeah. So don't stop trying. Wake up every day. Visualize before you go to bed for a couple minutes of what you want to do. That's when your brain absorbs the most information. Mm-hmm. Look at yourself as who you want to be. Be great. Dress for the job. Be positive. Don't gossip. Surround yourself with great people. All the stuff that we heard from our grandparents, all the stuff we hear in the Bible, this is your time. And if we 2 kids can do it, I saw food stamps at the age of 12, it changed my life. Poppy comes from the bottom. If 2 knuckleheads like us 2 can make it, you guys are way smarter than us and maybe way better than us. But I'm going to just pivot, and Poppy, if you can give it to me in 30 seconds because they're about to throw us off stage. Is last night you told me something that has nothing to do with baseball and nothing to do with business. But it really, I was thinking about it at 2 o'clock in the morning. And maybe this resonates with you. Poppy told me something about how important our mothers are. And I want to talk about Angela Ortiz, Poppy's mother, who passed about 20 years ago. Had the great opportunity to see him play for like 5 years. But maybe share with them, Poppy, what you think is, in less than 30 seconds or a minute, the importance of us spending time with our parents, with our mothers, and the unique love that our mothers have for their children. I thought that was beautiful.
You know, basically in our career, and we normally are moving too fast. Sometimes our time is very small, you know. But I went through something in 2019 where I got shot and I almost lost my life, you know. And since that moment and up, I realized how important, like my family always has been a big part of what I am. I'm a family guy, you know. but because you're moving so fast, business, your career, this and that, sometimes you don't take the time to spend time with your family, you know. So since that happened, I remember I'm in the room surrounded by my whole family on a daily basis. I was at the hospital for 2 months. And I realized that without my family, there was nothing. It doesn't matter what I reach out to, you know. So I always preach to my boy right here, hey, listen, I know you got too much on your plate, but there's one thing that you never want to miss, is time with your family. Because you know what, I lost my mom like 20 years ago, and it's like it happened yesterday. You know, I always go back in the memory of the great things that I lived with her and this and that. And the one thing that gave me peace is that while she was alive, I was able to be there for her, like she was with me, like she was for me since I was a baby boy, you know what I'm saying? So I was basically telling my boy last night, this guy, I had never, listen to this, and you can put this down on cement, you can cement it. This guy, we spent a whole month pretty much together 24/7, and I had never heard this guy talking on the phone about nothing but business. This is like when you talk about.
Basically, I wanted to say thanks to Fanatics Fest and Aspire Tour for letting us hear from 3 not only great players of the game of baseball, but 3 great minds of the game of baseball. David Ortiz, Derek Jeter, and A-Rod within a month span in New York City. Actually blocks away from each other, because that was at the Madison Square Garden Theater, the Aspire Tour. Today was at Javits. I mean, I'm very thankful to have gotten this opportunity, and to share it with Gabby was very special, and she's become family, my fiance, and of course we have the blood family and the sports family of Caleb and everybody else. I mean, you just got to spend time with those people and not really focus on work all the time. I think Poppy's right on that. But that being said, I want to play one more interview because he makes you feel like family. He is Keith McPherson, and I was so honored that I got to talk with him as well at the Javits Center earlier today. Remember, he's on WFAN, and he was gracious with his time here on the Alex Garrett Podcast Network.
Here with Keith McPherson, and man, you went from Bleacher Creature to on-air radio in New York City
yes,
right
sir.
now.
Yes, sir.
What's Fanatics Fest for you so far?
Oh, it's amazing. I was just saying, they're going to do this every year. I don't know what took it so long to even happen, to be thought of, but this is sick. I'm like, everybody in New York sports is here. People that you see on social media, people that you see at Yankee Stadium, Madison Square Garden, people that listen to WFAN. Like, it's everybody that cares about New York sports, all the sports. Like, not even just baseball, football, basketball, UFC, WWE, like ESPN is here. It's cool because you're seeing the celebrities walk through, the famous players walk through, and all the fans walk through. Everybody's wearing jerseys and stuff. It's awesome. I love it.
Keith, you're not afraid to tell it as it is on air and on social media.
Right.
What's that like to have that voice for the fans on the air?
You know, well, it just starts with being myself. It starts with, like, just understanding the only way to break through is being yourself. And once you find your own voice, there's no fear. So, like, having the voice that I have now, like, I just saw a kid over there that ran up to me to sign his hat, and it's just it's a humbling feeling of, like, okay, through me putting myself out there on social media and through the radio, like, people got to see me and know me for who I am, and it actually worked. So it's great. I feel blessed that it happened the way it did.
One last thing, your story is pretty freaking awesome. So from Bleacher Creature to on-air radio, are you like do you feel like you're an inspiration for others? What's your advice for others?
I try to inspire everybody. I've run into so many people here. Like, I ran into some guys that I played high school football with that they're in the cards business. I ran into some guys that I used to sit in 203 with, right? I've ran into some guys that I used to work with when I did social media, and people are just seeing my rise and my climb, and they see it's real. So yeah, I try to inspire everybody because I'm like, if I did it, you can do it too in your own way. You just got to put in the work. You got to figure it out and not quit on yourself, and it'll come to fruition.
And fans can see you actually this Sunday, can't they? Here.
Yeah, Sunday 12 to 3, I'll be hosting WFAN right there. Right now, BT and Sal are on. Mad Dog Russo came by. I can't wait. It's an honor. It's a privilege. And we're going to have a good time.
Awesome. Thanks for joining me, Keith.
Alex, you're the man, bro.
I mean, that's special. And so I want to say thanks to Keith. I want to say thanks to even BT and Sal and Danielle McCartan for stopping to take pictures with us. And babe, I know you're in the room with me. What was it like going in the UFC ring? Just tell people right now.
It was absolutely amazing, a once-in-a-lifetime experience, and as cliche as it might sound, a dream come true.
And by the way, we will be there the next 2 days, and hey, if you happen to see one guy in a rollerblade and one guy rollerblading on one leg and Gabby in her power chair, come on by. We'll be there wandering the grounds of Fanatics Fest 2024. A huge thanks to Wade Tonkin again for making this weekend even possible for us to go to. It means a lot when your affiliate liaison and manager sees the work you're putting in and says, you know what, here's a ticket to Fanatics Fest. That's pretty special. And so thanks to all for making this a great Friday. Saturday, Sunday is absolutely stacked. Can I take a couple names in case you haven't bought your ticket yet? I don't know, someone like Barry Sanders, know that guy? How about Jerry Rice? How about Ozzie Smith, the Wizard of Oz? How about Cal Ripken Jr.? How about Joe Girardi will be there? The 09 manager will be there tomorrow. And so we'll have a hopefully extensive Day 2 recap, and Terry Collins will be there as well as they're doing Baseball Talk in New York at the theater. I mean, the weekend's not over yet. Yeah, Jeter, yeah, Manning, yeah, Brady was there today, but don't sleep on everybody else. There are some legends running through New York City, running through the Javits Center that you need to meet, and tickets are still available at Fanatics Fest online, so join us, will you? The next couple of days are sure to be electric and legendary. Doc Good and Darryl Strawberry to highlight the list as well. And oh, by the way, Pete Alonso will be there with Jeff McNeil, and they just had a huge win tonight against the Marlins, so you know they need our support as fanatics of the game. You see what I did there? Anyway, have a great night. Thanks for listening to the Alex Garrett Podcast Network, and yes, we'll do it all again tomorrow from the Javits Center. Michael Rubin, hope to see you there.